Have you ever thought of changing that pinny?
It's a clean pinny.
I'm not querying its condition, it's the style.
What's wrong with the style?
In a nutshell, it hasn't got any.
My mother wore this kind of pinny. I've always worn this kind of pinny.
And while you keep wearing it, I have to tell you, it's doing absolutely nothing to inflame my senses. I'm never going to lose control at this rate.
I know what you have lost. Most of your marbles.
Women, you're a strange lot. I've never understood women. Mind you, I've never understood nuclear physics, but then there's still some people who do.
What's up with him? Has he eaten something? Oh, there's some funny bugs about.
It's all because he's got to wear his best suit this evening.
Oh, why do they hate getting dressed up? You wouldn't mind, but they've all got best suits that look just as bad as their old suits.
He's going to an old friend's stag night. You'd think it was a funeral.
Oh, I think I'd sooner go to a funeral. If he's Norman Clegg's generation, how old is this dashing bridegroom?
Nearly 80. They're not planning on anything exciting. Mind you, I don't remember it being all that exciting.
Oh, I know what you mean. I don't know how we'd have survived being newlyweds if the house hadn't needed so much decorating.
But why is Doggy Wilkinson inviting us?
I expect because everybody else he knows is dead.
See how crafty people are. They must have known something.
It's only for a few hours. I shall entertain the company with a few impressions.
We like the one where you do someone keeping quiet.
Why don't we skip this one and go to his next stag night?
It only means having a drink with the man. You've had a drink before.
But it's having a drink in a best suit. It always goes straight to your tight collar.
A tight collar's not compulsory.
But it's inevitable. Your neck gets bigger, but your shirt stays the same.
Some people are so wild and irresponsible, they'd probably buy a new shirt.
For one stag night?
Sounds like your wallet's tighter than your collar.
But it's not wrapped round your neck.
Just spare a thought for Doggy. Look what he's wrapping around his neck at his age.
Where did you get Doggy? I've forgotten why we call him Doggy.
We shall ask him. Provided, of course, that he doesn't bite.
Whoa. This stuff shouldn't be available on the internet where anybody can see it.
Barry, what are you looking at?
Philosophy. You should see some of the ideas floating around here.
As long as it's only philosophy.
Only. They come out with stuff that makes your hair stand on end. Look out there. What do you see?
I can see it's time to paint the fence.
What fence?
Our fence. I don't expect you to paint next doors.
There is no fence out there. There is no anything out there. We just think there is.
And I think it still needs painting.
It's all in here. It's only the way we see things that makes them look as if they're out there. Actually, everything is in our heads.
Barry, if you can go out there with a pot of paint and paint it, then it's out there.
I hate it when you do that.
What?
Make more sense than philosophy. You don't have the qualifications. You're not playing fair.
This suit, no, it smells a bit musty. I may have to run an iron over it.
You'd be better running a lorry over it. Just have it day, Doggy.
Oh, it's hardly been worn. I bought it for a wedding.
Whose?
Mine. There must be a bit of mildew in that wardrobe.
Oh, you'll have to do something with it. It's going to be lethal at 20 yards.
25?
Although it is a stag night. I mean, they're not actually famous for people staying sharp and alert.
Well, maybe if I went and sat in a corner.
Or even next door.
What's this stag night we're all talking about? I mean, it may have been his stag night first time round, but at nearly 80, it's going to be more like a chapel supper.
Right. Look at the time they've asked us to be there. It's more like a stag tea time.
Poor old Doggy. I expect he'll have to be in bed by 9.
And if he gets a sniff of this suit, he could be gone by 8.
The shed?
Yes. At the first sign of a harsh word, he locks himself in the shed.
You listening? We'll have to get a shed.
Does he sulk if you get mad at him?
Lord, no, love, he'd never be out the shed. Criticism just bounces off him. He's not what you call the sensitive type.
I'm as sensitive as the next man.
Provided the next man's a football hooligan.
Travis is inclined to be artistic.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, it was his mother's fault. She gave him piano lessons and a complete set of Shakespeare.
It's only me, Cleggy. What are you doing?
We're smelling Cleggy's suit.
He invites a few friends round occasionally.
You smell his suit.
Only the Sunday best one. It's a bonding thing.
Grab a sleeve or something. You're welcome to join us.
Just be warned. You can't normally get stuff like this without a prescription.
I can smell it from here. It's musty.
It'll do for Doggy's stag night. He's probably lost most of his faculties anyway.
And it seems only fitting that the library should take the initiative. We should all cherish our local history.
There's a few around here with history enough for anybody.
Do you read your local history?
I don't get much time for reading.
You should make time.
But readers are welcome here. Oh, I love a good reader. They make the best customers.
Oh, really? Why is that?
They'll believe anything. They're a shopkeeper's gift.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought so. I've been tossed around a little in the storms of life. I think you'd find me a harder nut to crack. Although I must admit the storms have been fewer lately.
Umbrellas. How are you for umbrellas?
No, thank you. My storms are more emotional.
Love potions.
Oh, now, you can't really seriously expect me to believe...
Local recipes. You want local history? This stuff goes way back.
Oh, well, I suppose if one views it from the standpoint of local history...
Are you sure this is not what you could call a bad idea?
It's a good idea. Doggy's going to need his stag night livening up a bit.
I think it's a great idea.
Oh, good heavens. So many male persons and just me. I shall be completely out of my depth.
All three of us don't amount to a paddle.
In my case, even a splash.
Oh, Norman Clegg. You were always something a lady could cuddle. We once shared a lift together and got stuck.
For 3 weeks.
Say 40 minutes.
Well, it seemed like 3 weeks.
He was a great source of strength. I still get the urge to squeeze him in a crisis.
You'd have to really squeeze. You'd be tackling a vest, a shirt, 2 cardigans and a waistcoat.
Unless, of course, it was winter, when you put something warm on.
No wonder we were overheating in the lift.
Speaking of overheating, we were wondering if we dare go so far as to ask you to become the surprise at a men-only event this evening.
Yes, you dare go so far.
How do you fancy getting dressed up as a kissogram girl?
How did you know I've always wanted a foothold in showbiz?
Don't silly. He's nearly 80. He's been twice round the clock.
Oh, well, I'll give my shorter performance. Why don't I practice on this?
You see, I was right. She's a natural for the job. Come along, Norman. Give us your opinion. You had the experience. How did it feel?
I don't remember. I was just hoping that I hadn't lost any fillings.
Enjoy your coffee, ladies.
He's in a good mood. What's up with him?
Well, don't look at me. I'm only responsible for his bad moods.
I don't like them in a good mood. It unnerves you.
It's true. I always think you can relax more when they're bored and miserable.
There's nothing worse than pleasure for ruining a good marriage.
Larry and I quite like a bit of pleasure.
It's a good job your mother's not listening.
It is amazing how you can get so used to boredom that you really find it quite comfortable.
Were your husbands really so boring?
Oh, yes, love. Credit where it's due. They were quite good that way.
Oh, look at her little finger.
Sorry. It was compulsory where we were.
Well, how did Travis cope?
Oh, he did his best, bless him. He tried to like gin and tonic, but I think they could see he was bluffing. Oh, they didn't scare me. I could hold my own.
We can see that from your drinking finger.
I can't help it. It's still in automatic.
You got everything you need, ladies? Can I get you anything?
Will you stop being in a good mood? You're upsetting everybody.
What's up with you?
What's up with me is, for once, this evening I shall be above suspicion.
Don't bet on it.
It's an all-male occasion, with absolutely no reason to cause anyone the slightest concern. Just a boys' night out at Doggy's Stag night. Repeat after me. My husband is innocent.
I told you, it's not a stag night. It's more like a stag afternoon tea. When Doggy goes home to bed, what are we going to do for the rest of the evening?
We're going to stop moaning, aren't we? It's Doggy's last free night.
Shows good spirit, man his age. Not much sense, but good spirit.
I'm determined to enjoy it. It's a change for once, to be above suspicion.
You're not tall enough to be above suspicion. Most you can hope for is below suspicion.
Hey, do you think this suit still smells musty?
Smells like old hymn book.
When did you ever smell a hymn book?
Sold Vicar washing machine. Borrowed hymn book to make good impression.
Yeah.
Hey, listen who's talking.
How do, Barry? He never heard you.
Of course he heard me.
He never moved.
He's got something on his mind.
Yeah. Like being dead.
Would he be thinking about being dead?
I'm not saying he's thinking about it. I'm saying maybe he is dead.
Because he's not dead. Harry?
I told you.
What time is it? He thought you were dead.
Ye gods! Is it that time already?
How long have you known her then, Doggy?
Who?
Who's like to be?
Oh, her, right, yes, her. How long? It must be, let me see. I forget.
Wish I'd brought hymn book.
Who's he then?
This is Entwistle. We thought we'd bring him. We knew you wouldn't mind.
He smells musty.
No, that's me. Remember me?
He's not from round here.
No, he's from Hull.
Entwistle, remember name. For anything electrical when setting up new home.
She does all that. She does electricals.
If you don't mind a question from somebody musty, what's your good lady's name, Doggy?
It'll come back to me.
How do you mean there's nothing solid anywhere?
Everything is made up of atoms, and atoms are mainly empty space.
So what we sitting on then?
I know it feels solid, but the closer you look into things, the more they disappear.
It's the same with him when there's a heavy job to do.
You're not going to get bitter as you grow older and lose all that sunny personality.
No way, I promise.
Part of my job is selling people insurance. How am I supposed to do it now I know they're full of holes?
Barry, you look to me like somebody who's so concerned you might easily buy us all a drink.
I will.
Is that wise when we're full of holes?
You're becoming a right chatterbox.
I have to be honest with you, it's not as exciting as the first time.
Maybe second marriages are like that.
I thought first marriages were like that.
Mine was exciting enough. I never knew what she'd throw next.
Women can't throw. They're all jelly at the elbows. They haven't got our wonderful muscular development.
Trust me to get one that could throw.
Girl can throw.
Maybe in a fashion. What does she throw?
Him, usually.
Men should seek good, obedient wife. And if not already married, I would too.
Could I draw your attention to the fact that this is supposed to be a night out? What are we doing sitting here moaning?
At moaning, we're doing rather well, I thought.
He's right. And I'm sure if she was here, my old, what's her name, would say the same.
I expect that's why he's getting married. So he'll be able to remember she's called Mrs. Wilkinson.
Yeah, that's if he remembers that he's Mr. Wilkinson.
He's looking at me again.
Who's he, do you say?
Sandy MacPherson.
You should have brought your organ.
What did you do on your first stag night, Doggy?
We had a good time, I remember that much.
Oh, a lot like this.
Would you care to fill in a few details?
I don't recall the details.
Well, there's a surprise.
I remember us standing on a table and singing. Why not? It's not as if I'm past it.
Why don't we stand on the table and you sing sitting down?
Sit down, Doggy.
Hold your water, you lot. I'll get there in the end.
But which end?
Ooh, pub tables are higher than they used to be.
Get this down your neck. This is good for loss of memory. It removes it almost entirely.
Good night.
Irene.
Thank you. Irene. Good night, Irene.
Can you believe he's never had a lesson in his life?
Irene, I'll see you in my dreams.
Who's going to keep an eye on the handcart?
Who's got to pinch it?
It's full of holes anyway.
You think she'll want to marry a drunk with a sprained ankle?
You'll be sober by morning, Doggy.
Eh?
And at your age, it's not likely that ankle's going to be under too much pressure.
Well, let's look on the bright side. At least he fell off before he did too much singing.
I like where he screamed.
The only true note he's hit all night.
Ah, go steady. Go steady. I hope my wedding night's not as rough as this.
What have we here? Auntie Wainwright's handcard. Pop back in the pub, Howard, and tell Tom and Smiler we're borrowing the handcard. Medical emergency.
Is somebody injured?
You cough drop.
Ah! They've borrowed your handcart.
I knew it. I told you we'd get it nicked.
It hasn't been nicked. It's been borrowed.
The Doggy's sprained his ankle.
Already? He isn't even married yet.
Don't look now, but I think there's a Russian spy waving at us. Oh, I think she wants somebody.
Poor soul. I expect she's lonely.
I'm not surprised.
It's not safe on here. I'm falling off.
You're not falling off.
Where's Sandy?
I'm pushing.
It's Andy, it's Sandy. Don't let me fall off. Where are we going?
He's going home.
I'm not going home. I'm going to do what I always do on my stag night.
Sprain your ankle.
Kiss the girls goodbye. First one I meet. It's a tradition. He's absolutely fearless.
Except about falling off handcuffs.
Ah, there's nothing to it. Just to give him a kiss.
Lie down, Doggy. Control yourself. You're a disgrace to the aging process.
Love to try.
Where are they going with a drunk in a handcart?
Do you need a licence?
He sprained his ankle. It's his stag night. We're taking him home.
His stag night? Bit over the hill for marriage, isn't he?
He can't sing either.
It's early to be going home for a stag night.
He's usually in bed before 9. He's nearly 80.
He's getting married. Doesn't believe in rushing then.
Oh, there's light there yet. Come and see.
You're being wicked, you know.
But you have to try. First stranger coming, Doggy. Pucker your lips and close your eyes.
What does he have to drink?
I'm falling off. I'm falling off.
You'll feel safer in a minute.
Oh. Where's he going?
Hush now, Doggy, before you sprain your clacker.
A man's entitled to moan on his stag night.
Not till he wakes up in the morning.
Now what?
You want to feel safe, don't you?
What's he doing with that rope?
We're going to make you safe. You're not going to fall out now.
What's up with him?
We think it's shock. He just kissed a policeman.
Don't tell everybody.
Are you sure it's not illegal kissing policemen?
Or was he in uniform?
Not in good form at all when we left.
Well, where is he?
The policeman? Oh, I expect he's gone somewhere quiet to think about the perils of his profession.
Not the policeman. Where's Howard?
Maybe still in pub.
We sent him back with a message. Well, he was the obvious choice on account of his reliability.
You'll get no sense from them. They've been drinking.
No, I'm not. I'll skip her this time. I kissed her last stag night.
Oh, he never did.
How was she?
Marginally better than a policeman. It does feel safer, but should you be anchoring the trousers of the bridegroom?
You better not have company when I get there.
It's perfectly harmless. Howard's with Tom and Smiler.
What?
What? The kissogram girl. You've got to get to Howard before Pearl does.
Quick!
It worked! I'm safe as houses in these trousers, which is not usually the case for your newlywed. This is turning out to be livelier than the last stag night.
Oh, Glenda.
I'm looking for my Barry. I think he's depressed.
I'm looking for my Howard. I think he's going to be depressed.
How was I supposed to know it was you? Why are you wearing your uncle's raincoat? You know, I feel I'm entitled to know what you're hiding.
Then fasten your safety belt, Howard.
Oh, Marine. Oh, it's drafty.
And it's going to get draftier.
It wasn't for him. It was for some other gentleman.
What do you do in your spare time? Home!
I thought she was an old lady. I was going to help her across the road.
Home!
I thought it would be in a delicate little sort of perfume bottle.
It's the family size. It works out cheaper.
Don't you breathe a word. I'll explain. You were under stress at the time.
We still didn't find out why he's called Doggy.
And he won't remember.
The way he sings sounded a lot like a dog howling.
Pedigree, though. I've never seen a man leave his trousers so fast.
At his age, it's probably a record.
I know she lives here somewhere.
How long are you going to be?
You don't have to get dressed up just for me.
Oh!
Will you stop being so physical? You're missing an opportunity here.
Yes, but I shan't miss you with this brush next time.
You should let me advise you on a makeover.
Have you had a look at you lately?
Maybe that's it. Maybe we both should have a stab at being more house and garden. I'm not saying I could turn you into Marilyn Monroe, but we might get as far as Matt.
Oh!
There's a place down there, look, crying out to be haunted.
You can't tell from here. We'll have to check it out.
Doesn't look all that spooky. Alvin looks worse than that.
I'm built for adventure. I'm not supposed to look like a dress designer.
Funny, we always thought you did. Very inventive with printed fabrics, that Alvin, they always say.
I still say that place will look spooky once we invent a spooky story to go with it.
I'm not going near there if it's really spooky.
You see, we've got one believer already.
Can we go? There's a place here that's being haunted by a cold draft.
Through 2 cardigans and a waistcoat? You must be using a drill.
I can't remember anybody of that name.
Oh, you do. Her mother had a bad leg.
It would have had to be a really bad leg to remember it all those years.
She used to clean at the bank.
With a bad leg?
I think she also had a bucket and a mop.
Where did they live?
Oh, they pulled it down since Kelvin Street.
No wonder she had a bad leg. What did he do?
Her husband? Oh, I don't know. But I know he wore a tie.
That wouldn't go down very well in Kelvin Street.
Obviously they were at the better end.
I still don't remember their daughter. What did she look like?
Oh, a very bonny girl.
Oh, I always think that's asking for trouble. Bonnie's all right for children and small pets, but it just means trouble for grown-ups.
Are you saying plain is better?
I'm saying it's safer.
Well, you could get into trouble if you're plain.
Well, you can. But I'm saying opportunities come less often, and you've more time to think.
Nobody goes there, ever.
They've avoided it since 1789.
When he was first seen.
Who was seen?
The dead tinker.
Playing his flute. They say those who hear the tinker's flute.
People avoid the place. Nobody goes there, Howard.
A tinker's ghost. I don't believe such rubbish.
Ah, but other people do. You won't find anybody nosing about that place.
Well, I suppose it might be spooky at midnight, but I bet it's all right in daylight.
What time in daylight?
Oh, I don't know. Let's say, for argument's sake, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Which afternoon?
Any afternoon. Let's say today.
3 o'clock this afternoon? Yeah. No, I don't suppose it'll be spooky at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Almost the best time for not being spooky is 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
They say it's the very hour when ghosts are most scared of people.
I never knew that.
Of course, you have to allow 1 hour each way for British summertime.
Although they do say that there are some violent spirits who do not believe in British summertime.
Well, can't stop here all day. Things to do.
Guess where he'll be at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Like I said, didn't I say? It looks like the kind of place that ought to be haunted.
Which it is now. Since 1789, when the tinker was buried here, in his lonely grave, together with his flute.
What's this flute bit?
Well, you need these little touches of detail. Right, where is he buried?
I don't suppose he left an address. I think he was too busy with his flute.
So, where do we say he's buried then?
What does it matter if nobody knows exactly? Well, it's better that way. It adds to the mystery. As long as they believe he was buried here somewhere.
Along with his flute?
Yes, along with his flute. Let's be thankful he didn't play the piano.
What was his name?
Murdoch of Macclesfield.
Well, it doesn't sound very ghostly. I mean, more like a bakery.
All right, then. Irish Johnny.
That's better. Now, let's see. How did he die? His horse fell on him. It used to drink. Well, they both used to drink. Well, he would have a horse, wouldn't he?
Well, as long as he didn't play a musical instrument.
Is he in pain? They're not good with pain.
They don't have to be. They usually leave it to us.
Does he get migraines?
He gets dafter is what he gets. He's not in pain. He's being psychic.
How long has he been psychic?
Ooh, more than 25 minutes. I'm at the sink and he comes in with this big announcement. Pearl, I'm psychic.
Oh, they do. They get dafter. I couldn't live with anybody psychic. You'd never know who they were thinking. What makes him think he's psychic?
Well, for starters, he knew I wouldn't believe him. You got that right?
Travis used to dream that he was going to drop dead in Cleethorpes. I told him, Travis, we never go to Cleethorpes. It'd be more convincing in Morecambe.
It's all clear, ladies. There are no malicious spirits in this immediate area. Present company accepted, of course.
Ghost? Oh, I'm afraid I'm rather sceptical about ghosts. I find men of flesh and blood know how to vanish quickly enough.
Oh, you're right. It's probably just another local legend, like Auntie Wainwright's sale prices.
We were hoping you might have some information on where exactly it might be buried.
And what happened to the horse?
It fell on him.
I hope it missed his musical instrument.
But it wasn't dead. It was only drunk. So, what happened when it sobered up?
I usually have a bad head.
The horse was drunk?
It was often drunk, though it would never admit to be more than a social drinker.
Why are you worried about the horse?
Well, fancy waking with a blinding headache and find yourself lying on a dead tinker. You're going to feel guilty. People are going to blame you. Who's going to feed you? How can you not wonder what happened to the horse?
Well, I'm pleased to hear that at least the horse isn't a ghost.
Oh, no. The only ghost people have seen wears trousers. Not very clean trousers since you've been buried in them.
And they've been slept in by a horse.
Not to mention beer stains and the inevitable dribble from his flute.
How unpleasant.
He is. They say it looks terrible. Beware of the ghost of Irish Johnny, the wandering tinker.
Playing his flute. When Irish Johnny plays his flute, that's the time for folk to scoot.
I've never heard that rhyme before. Is it well known?
Oh, yes. People used to raise their children on it round these parts.
I'm afraid I remain a disbeliever in your ghostly tinker.
They say people have heard him mending ghostly pots and pans.
A sound that chills you to the marrow.
Especially thin people like yourself, Miss Davenport, who only have a narrow marrow.
Death since 1789, but still wandering.
Well, I can readily believe in men's tendency to wander, but if
People have heard him. Heard the flute.
Greensleeves. Always plays Greensleeves.
Yes, I know the tune.
It sounds more ghostly on a flute.
It sounds lovely on a flute.
Anywhere else, maybe, but not out there. Not when he suddenly appears looking like... Or as some say...
Oh, I know how you feel, madam. You must be wondering why they let him into the library.
Morning, mate.
Hello, Barry.
I saw your cousin Vera. She says hi.
Oh. Oh, the vicar rang for you. It's ringing back.
What does he want?
I didn't say. But it doesn't really matter, does it? He'll do it anyway.
I don't always do it.
You do. People pick on you, Barry. They know you'll never say no.
I do say no.
When?
Well,
I wouldn't have you any other way. But if you hate the idea of doing something, it's time you said no.
I will. Hey, you are looking at Mr. Makes Up His Own Mind.
That's probably him now.
Oh, tell him I had to pop out. Australia, Canada, heck and whack.
Pick up the phone, Barry. Be nice, but tell him no.
Well, we've seeded a local legend. We'll see if it flowers.
Well, I think the library is a good place to start.
Well, then why are you looking so doubtful?
It's Irish Jimmy's horse. I hate to think of it wandering about lost. I mean, if it was a drinker, it might lose all sense of direction.
Norman, there is no horse. We invented it.
I know that, but if we invented him, then I think we ought to look after him. Especially if it gets hung over.
Well, sounds as if it's time to go.
You should have said no.
I would have said no if I'd wanted to.
Oh, you didn't want to say no.
I was going to say no, and then I thought, it's not a bad idea. Why don't you do it, Barry?
He wants you to take over a part in a play at the very last minute without any preparation.
He says there's only a few lines. It's mainly face acting.
I know that face. It'll be green when it's time to go on stage.
It's really quite flattering to be asked. He must have heard I'd done some acting.
He must have heard what a gift you are to people who can't find anybody else.
Come on.
Tide well then.
How about a ride?
No thanks, I've got one.
A man from Hull.
So you missed the war then?
Yeah, I was still at school.
Getting equipped for your future?
Yeah. Look where it got me.
That's negative thinking. You should be thinking that this could be the springboard to an executive career. Although in your case you need a rocket.
What about staff training? What have you got to do to bring me on managerial-wise?
I sent you out for a pizza, marinara. What did you come back with?
I get confused speaking Italian.
You're not that great with English. What you scowling for? Are you in pain?
I'm thinking.
Oh, well, that explains it.
I didn't miss the war altogether. I had this piece of a tale of a Messerschmitt.
Where did you get that then?
I had to give this kid 20 marbles for it.
You were robbed. I was doing them for 15.
It was worth every marble. It was the only thing that kept me going after Mother went.
Your mother died in the war?
No, she just went.
Where to?
I've no idea. I came home from school and there was this note.
Oh, she must have been thinking of you then.
It said, "Your tea is in the pantry. Love, Mum." It's the last time I saw her.
I don't believe a word of it. I knew your mother. You drove her to distraction. You used to go around telling everybody she'd left home.
Oh, I always fancied being an orphan.
You think Howard will come?
Oh, it's a stone certainty, because he thinks nobody ever comes here. That makes it his kind of place.
He likes remote places. We think it's a love of nature.
Howard comes, sees recent fire. He'll know people come here.
Not if he's been told it's a ghostly fire. Some people hear the flute.
Some people see the tinker.
And some people see the ashes of the tinker's ghostly fire.
And some people see the ashes of Alvin's ghostly socks.
His horse fell on him.
It used to drink, apparently.
I knew they did that.
I expect they need a little help from their friends.
What else are friends for? What does he do if he appears, this tinker?
What they say, he plays the flute. Although, of course, I'm inclined to disbelieve the whole thing. It's so pedestrian, so without emotion. I'd have much preferred, say, two star-crossed lovers committing suicide. Oh, I always think that's so romantic, don't you?
I'd sooner have a cuddle. Where is all this supposed to have happened?
Oh, somewhere out there on the moors.
Shudder, shudder. I've been in some funny places.
So I hear.
Won't catch me in that one.
We'll let you out on proof of purchase.
Where'd you get this set up from? Somebody's dungeon?
A defenceless old lady has to protect herself.
Defenceless? I bet you got a black belt in martial arts.
I've got some very nice black belts with fancy buckles.
I want a flute.
You'll never hold your trousers up with a flute.
That means you've got no flutes.
I can find you a very close alternative.
How close?
Wait here.
I've got no choice, have I? I'm locked in.
If he's supposed to be a legend, he's kept himself pretty quiet.
I've never heard of this tinker.
There's no reference to him in the library.
They say some poor young woman drowned herself in the loch.
When was this?
Oh, in Victorian times.
Oh, they were always drowning themselves in Victorian times. I expect they couldn't go for a walk without hearing a splash.
It's all that black stuff they used to wear. They were always dressed for a funeral. Suppose they thought they might as well get on with it.
At least you couldn't see the tattoos. Where do you find a nice young woman these days? They're all tattooed. They've all had strangers in places where they've no business to be.
Fancy admitting that you've had people in some of those places. It's brazen enough that they've been there without letting them sign it.
I wouldn't mind a little butterfly.
I hope your mother's not listening.
I once had a heart with a name under it, but I had it removed.
Was it painful?
Very. He swore he wasn't married.
Was removing the tattoo painful?
I'll never do it again.
You should never believe a word they say.
I know, but they deceive you in such interesting ways.
They're not all out to take advantage of you.
Fewer and fewer these days.
Travis isn't devious. He has a struggle keeping things simple.
Howard's ambitions are devious, but fortunately the rest of him isn't fast enough.
You've got to keep men at arm's length. You've got to keep your defences up.
Oh, it's been a while since we've been under threat.
I believe in my Barry. I shall be glad when the vicar's finished with him.
I don't believe in that vicar. I don't know what his Hebrew's like, but I'd be surprised if he's got past perils of the flesh.
I suppose they're still only men.
That's not an excuse. That's a confession.
Finger!
Oh! Sorry.
His horse fell on him.
The whole horse?
In its entirety. Flattened him like a length of tarmac. You could have skateboarded on him.
They say the coroner was tempted to keep him as a bookmark.
Big horse, then.
Very sturdy animal. You see how lucky you are with a handcart.
Its wheel keeps coming off.
I've always wanted to see a ghost, but I've always hesitated in case it was Glenda's mother.
Who said the place was haunted?
People have seen him, heard him, mending ghostly pots and pans.
I must check this place out.
Heard him playing his flute. Sousaphone. Green sleeves.
Green sleeves?
Always played green sleeves.
What kind of a play are you in?
No idea. I've only learnt me few lines.
I rather like you in the hat.
Don't get carried away, it's just the glamour of showbiz.
You're going to be early.
I'm going to make another call first. There's something I want to check out.
Right then. Park it where Howard won't see it.
I'll park it where even Stinker won't see it.
Tinker, tinker. Here.
Right. How do I look?
Underdone. He needs to look frightening. I mean, ghastly, scary.
Well, he usually manages quite well.
Just be careful. Have you any idea what terrible wounds you can inflict with a sousaphone?
Well, he needs some makeup. Dark rings round the eyes.
The morning after, Luke. I know it well.
Well, it's usually ashes from the fire.
Ashes in your eyes? Why didn't I think of that?
Well, you wait until we drop the horse on you.
This time we've really cracked it. I found us a place where nobody ever goes.
Including us. If it's much further.
Oh, we're nearly there.
The times I've been under that impression. It's spooky, Howard.
That's what keeps people away.
You can't help thinking what a good idea.
Oh, it's all nonsense, this ghost business. There's no sense.
What is it? What is it?
Somebody's had a fire.
People that never come here have had a fire.
Well, all right. Unless it starts playing green sleeves.
Well done, Alvin.
They're coming back.
Tinker!
It's lonely out here.
Why are you lonely? You with me?
The area's lonely. I'd hate to be out here in dark.
When we're on nights, we've been out here in the dark.
I know. I hated it.
You never said.
I were being brave, wasn't I?
It's just an empty landscape. What's to be nervous about?
They look nervous enough. They're running from something.
Probably his wife. They say she's a bit fierce.
Did you see the faces? That wasn't a wife look. That were a, oh my God, what is it look?
So go on then. What is it?
I don't know. But it'll probably be coming round that bend any minute. Won't we be safer in car?
We're not supposed to be safe. We're supposed to be investigating what it is.
Safe sounds better.
Listen, it's coming.
Did you see his face?
His face? He was gone so fast I only saw his rear end.
You know why he was going so fast? Because there's something after him as well. And here it comes!
What happened to the police car?
Yeah. What happened to the horse?
It was adopted by some kindly old person who kept it in comfort.
You're sure?
Yes, we are.
Did he still drink?
Only in moderation.
What are you gaping at?
You're a vision of loveliness this morning. But you needn't bother for me. I will not be seduced by female wiles.
You'll get some female wallop in a minute.
I've been expecting it. Next thing is you'll be inviting me to a weekend at some party people's paradise.
Got all the weekend you need, and it's between your ears.
Just because I brighten your life, I don't want you getting carried away.
You've got more rattle than a brewer's dray. Webblies, lad.
Whatever would your mother say?
She said you were a good lad.
Give our regards to Iris.
Nice when they've been raised right.
Practically a miracle these days.
That was very impressive. But this isn't my car, mine's over there.
Looks as if romance is running out of steam.
I wonder if Casanova had a bicycle.
Must have had a motorbike. So, where does it hurt, Howard?
Oh, it's the seat of your trousers. It gets hotter.
It's called global warming. You've got a hole in your ozone layer.
I've always suspected it.
He sets off in good spirits. I think his legs are beginning to lag behind his aspirations.
Look, it's the hills. Your knees go wobbly.
I thought it was Marina did that to you.
You keep your voice down. That's how rumours get started.
Why do you keep testing yourself to the limits of human endurance? Why don't you get something more restful than Marina?
Something more suitable for beginners.
Will not listen to any criticism of the lady who had to wheel me the last 200 yards.
Oh, I think that's nice, Howard. And not only romance, but also your own transport.
I think that's what I need. My own transport. You know, I used to fling myself quite recklessly at any obstacle, no matter how rough.
You're still doing it. How is Marina?
I think I'm at a crossroads in my life. I think I've outgrown the bicycle.
Not by much.
It's only me.
Show yourself. You could be some complete stranger saying, it's only me.
A complete stranger with his own key.
What are you doing home at this hour?
You see how much a creature of routine that means I am. We both are. What's happening, Glenda?
Well, not a lot. You're just standing there holding your briefcase.
I'm on my way to see a client. I thought I'd pop in and you'd smile and you'd say something that didn't sound like, what are you doing here at this hour? I would have liked more of a welcome.
I'm glad you called in. I mean it. I really am.
That's better.
I forgot to ask you this morning. On the way home, will you drop by the bakery and pick me up a crusty cob?
You see where we are? I'll pop in to surprise you and all you can see is a crusty cob. Goodbye, Glenda.
Of course, there could be a special welcome waiting for anybody with a crusty cob.
Shall I bring two?
One will do.
Went to Turkey for 2 weeks. Brought him back in a coffin.
Well, that's a bit extreme. You're entitled not to like a place, but that's overdoing it.
I never liked him. I mean, I never wished him dead, but he was a troublemaker.
Well, it couldn't have been much trouble on the plane coming home.
He once complained about my bacon. Said it was underdone. Cafe full of customers listening to him moan.
But you didn't really wish him any harm.
Only for a week or two. Oh, it cut me to the bone. I've always leaned naturally towards crispy bacon.
He'd have done better sticking with your bacon than going abroad for kebabs. Ooh, you don't know what might be in a kebab.
I always thought it was two sailors. I used to think a kebab was one of those boats you'd see sailing down the Nile. Until we moved away, of course, among people who knew about these things.
They knew it all, did they?
And if they didn't, they'd bluff.
Were they a bit snooty?
I blame Sainsbury's for a lot of it.
There are places where snooty is a way of life.
It used to be a way of death round here. They couldn't wait to die to see who had the best funeral.
Oh, well, I think it's permissible for funerals.
I can't do with snooty. I get them in here, examining their forks for signs of previous owners.
Where we were, they could hear an H drop 50 yards away.
I've a cousin full of swank. Entirely self-taught.
Fancy dying on your holiday. I mean, they can't be as good for you as people pretend.
I wonder what it cost to bring him back. Being cheaper to send out the rest of his stuff.
What's going to happen when he can't speak the language?
He'd have found something to complain about in any language.
I expect it'll be an open coffin. Well, they'll want to show off his tan.
Don't tell me Howard fancies a little runabout.
He's got one. He says they share a mutual interest in nature and conservation.
This one looks as if it's done less mileage.
Sail sign looks in quite good condition.
Which is more than you could say for Howard when we saw him this morning. I wonder if he's weighing up all the technical details, such as will there be room for Marina in the back.
It's very reasonable. The lady's desperate to get rid of it. It reminds her too much of her late husband.
Oh, really? Had a pair of wipers and twin fog lamps, did he?
How much did he do to the gallon?
You know what she means.
In the interest of road safety, shouldn't you be sparing a thought for what Pearl might say?
I don't have to consult Pearl over every decision.
Spoken like a man who almost believes it.
Not if she doesn't know about it. And I'd like to keep this one under wraps for a while.
You're going to keep this from Pearl? Ooh, I'd fasten your seatbelt, Howard.
Well, it's risky, but I'm very tempted.
We noticed you being tempted.
That's a lady friend and a car you'll have to conceal at Clegg's.
Me again.
Ah. Well, what's wrong?
There's no crusty cobs.
Well, of course, that explains it. I mean, how could life look anything but bleak when there's no crusty cobs? Are you not feeling well? You're not running a temperature?
It's nothing physical, it's mental.
You're not going like your Uncle Ted?
No, I'm not going like Uncle Ted. Besides, he's better. As long as he keeps away from Blackpool. It's not that kind of thing. My problem is spiritual.
Spirits? The departed? You started seeing me mother.
No, I haven't. It's not that bad.
What's so bad about seeing me mother?
She scared me enough when she was alive.
Are you sure you're happy with the price?
Take it, just take it out my sight.
It seems very generous at the price.
Take it, go, I want rid.
I hope you won't regret it.
Reminds me too much of him, that was. He loved that car. I want to see the back of it, just go.
Well, don't just sit there, go. She wants to see the back of it.
I feel guilty.
That's because, on average, you have a lot to feel guilty about.
Guilt suits you. It's the Howard we all know and love.
There'll be a catch in it somehow at that price. Start her up, let's find out.
I can't help feeling that him that was is up there right now, looking down and wondering what's that chirp doing behind the wheel of my car.
There's not only him that was, but there's people in here wondering what that chirp's doing behind the wheel of the car. Get to move on.
Don't worry about him that was. Worry about her that is when she finds out you've got a motor vehicle for shady purposes.
I wouldn't say shady purposes.
I wouldn't say anything. Not to Pearl.
Your secret's safe with us, Howard. We understand the need for discretion.
So do I. She'd kill me.
So where do you think you went wrong in life?
What makes you think I went wrong?
Like that? That shows spirit. That shows you've got a strong and positive sense of your own identity, even if it doesn't bear any relationship to the facts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I remember me dad saying I'd never amount to anything.
You showed him what for then, didn't you?
I remember your father. He still owes me 3 shillings and 2 halfpenny. For an artificial leg he was buying on tick.
He had both legs. Why did he need a wooden leg?
He didn't. He came in for a standard lamp. I was able to make him see how attractively a wooden leg would convert into a standard lamp.
I'm sorry, but he abandoned his family. I can't be held responsible for his debts.
Your father abandoned your mother?
She always says it wasn't really her he left, it was me.
Ah.
So you've no chance in getting his money from me?
Not a lot of getting it from him either, now he's dead.
He's dead. I went to his funeral, but I might as well not have bothered. Nobody seemed interested in my 3 shillings and 2 halfpenny.
This is better than climbing hills on your bicycle. I'm getting too old for pedalling.
You're getting too old for canoodling.
I don't canoodle. When have I ever canoodled?
He comes home covered in bits of grass and lipstick, denying he's been canoodling.
That's a wicked lie. She kissed me once, in gratitude, when I saved her from a nasty bite from a creepy crawly.
And you threw yourself on it recklessly. Hey, no wonder she was impressed.
He looks impressed.
Oh, what does he want?
Hey, you! First impressions is not something we should stop and inquire about.
Well, maybe he wants to tell us something.
Probably. I don't think it's hello, sweetie. This one looks like a jealous boyfriend. You can always tell by the colour. They're inclined to be exceptionally nasty.
Maybe he's sworn to get you for stealing his woman.
What, Pearl?
Not Pearl, you chirp. Marina.
How can he possibly object to our conservation activity? You don't really think she's got a boyfriend? I would call that being very close to not quite faithful.
Poor Howard. Just when he's outgrown the bicycle.
All right, calm down. Yes, Travis. You can't find it. It's where it always is. Travis, face the window. Now that means not with your back to it. Are you facing the window? Good. Now look to your right. Do you see the sideboard? Yes, that's it. That's the one. That's the sideboard. Say hello to the sideboard. Now, the left-hand drawer, there's a cupboard below. It's in there. Well, it's always been in there. He broke his nerve when we lived away. They BMW'd him until he was a nervous wreck.
They're all the same at finding things. My Wally never knew where his socks were.
Well, he was only as big as me. Didn't have far to look.
It's a man thing. I think it's genital.
Genetic? She does, but I think she's probably onto something anyway.
I used to worry about my Wally when he was in the army. Whether he'd remember where he left his rifle.
I can't imagine your Wally with a rifle.
Well, they gave him one. But I don't think they allowed him to load it.
They gave Travis a tank. Well, when I say gave, I think he had to return it.
Oh, I can even less imagine your Travis in a tank. Was he fast enough?
I know what you mean. I look at him sometimes.
Bad move. The better in the corner of your eye.
In old pyjamas buttoned up to the neck. And you wonder how anyone as quiet as he is could have 2 bullet wounds and a medal.
It's what I've always said. You never know what they're getting up to when you're not there to keep your eye on them.
Howard missed the war. He was in a reserved occupation. But I like to think I've given him almost the same experience.
I hope dropping you off here is convenient.
Convenient for you, I bet. Where are you off to?
I've no idea where I'm off to. I thought I'd spend a little time getting used to the vehicle and just wonder where the impulse takes me.
You could get arrested for impulses like that.
He's using us. We've just been seat warmers for Marina.
Why are people so suspicious?
He asked suspiciously. Have a good wander, Howard.
Wherever the impulse takes you.
Not a bad little car, though. I think maybe he's got a bargain.
He's got Pearl and Marina. I say he's due for a bargain.
Hey, you two. You're with him in the car. Where is he?
Where's who?
That little trunk who stole my car.
Just a minute. Just a minute. He didn't steal it, he bought it.
At that price, it was a steal. She'd no right to sell it. It's my car. She knew I was coming back for that car. She's only done it for badness.
She said you were dead.
Do I look dead?
I hate tricky questions.
I left her for another woman, that's all. A lady with every advantage except her own garage. That's why I couldn't take the car. Well, he's in trouble when I get hold of him.
Lucky Howard. You get your own transport, don't you soon meet new people?
I should have thrashed him. But something was holding me back.
Yes, you.
I knew it was something.
Ah, the joys of motoring. I hope Howard remembers to keep looking in his mirror.
Polish it.
That's another thing. I've lost my taste for polishing my car.
Barry, what are you going to do on Sundays?
Ribbons?
Gift wrap service we offer. How many you want?
We want a lift, is what we want.
Rescue mission. You could help save one of the world's outstanding examples of idiocy.
Devoted his life to it.
Howard is in trouble.
Which will probably strike you as not unusual.
What kind of rescue mission?
We've got to find him and warn him.
Sometimes rescue mission leads to deep feeling of gratitude, followed by sale of washing machine.
I like the enterprising spirit of you people from home.
You've got the wrong house. My husband doesn't have a car.
Oh, he does now. He's just bought mine.
Well, it's news to me, although he has had wild impulses before. You should just see how wild.
And when I say bought, it's more like stolen. The wife nearly gave it away. And when I say wife, it's soon to be ex-wife.
And when did all this happen?
Oh, not long since. I nearly had him, but he slipped away.
I know the feeling. Leave it with me. I'll make sure you get your car back.
I'm not leaving it with you. I want to see him now.
Don't you come to my house with your big foot and your big mouth. He's not here.
You're covering for him.
Cover him? I'll smother him.
There's a lot of space out here. It could be anywhere.
Space? I sometimes think Howard's from outer space.
Ye gods, don't say there's a planet full. We've got to start thinking like Howard. Where would you take Marina?
Don't ask me. I never took advance reckless.
No good asking me. I'm happily married.
Don't lie.
Man who can't lie should not sell washing machines.
Come out, wherever you are. It's you know who, sweetie. Say, have I got a surprise for you?
You can keep it, sweetie.
I thought they'd never go. They were looking for a white throat. Just think, It could have been mine. You must stop meeting in these wild places. You said something about a surprise.
Tell me it's not true. You're not involved with some other person.
Howard, if I were, do you think I'd be way out here at the mercy of every passing bird watcher? Now, you said something about a surprise. And if you want to know my opinion, I think it's long overdue.
Step this way. Get ready to be knocked off your feet.
Good heavens. I'm in the grip of something bigger than both of us.
Our own transport. No more bicycles.
Oh, Howard.
No more reason for us ever to get flushed or out of breath.
We're not lost. We're here.
I know we're here, but where's here?
There.
Is there anything you can recognise on that map?
We're in the bare bit, aren't we? It's showing us we're in the middle of nowhere.
That's handy, isn't it? But that's not like knowing a postcode. I knew we should have turned left.
Well, you were driving.
I got in my mind.
Such as what?
I forgot the wife's birthday.
I've seen you when you've forgotten you had a wife.
I was under stress at the time.
I want to report a stolen car.
This is not a good time. He's got a lot on his mind.
That's them. There they are. They were involved.
Look. That's it. That's Howard. Foot down, Entwistle.
Picking up speed.
They're trying to lose you.
Nobody loses the panther.
What about that little old woman driver? She got away.
She reminded me of my granny. How can you chase your granny?
Better stop, we've got company.
That's not where my car is.
Oh, it's way ahead now. You just let it get away.
Right. Who's the driver?
You're not going to tell me then?
Tell you what?
Who he is?
You've lost me, Howard.
I knew it. I've lost you to somebody else. Who is he?
Kindly keep your eyes on the road. I felt safer by bicycle.
How safe do you think I feel with some dangerous lunatic chasing after me just because he thinks I've stolen you away from him?
Howard, don't sit there telling me that somebody's mad keen on me. Unless you're prepared to divulge his name and address.
Marina!
Only joking, of course. What makes you think there's some lunatic chasing you? Oh, he is keen, isn't he?
Trust him to buy something with a lunatic attached. How long has he had this car? Just long enough to get himself into trouble. At least to get some excitement. Travis never does anything like this. Mum won't be doing it anymore for a while. I don't want to sound like some know-it-all from BMW land, but the chances of finding him out here are absolutely...
That was him! Get after him!
Looks like everybody's after him. Credit where it's due, love. He does liven things up. Don't talk to me. I'm practicing being nasty. I know. That is my sneaky little trunk.
Oh, Carl, am I glad to see you.
Get on! Go on!
No, I bet he was glad to see Pearl. She's the only place he feels really safe.
You call that safe? She was bending that brolly on him.
Signs of genuine affection. You really have to care for somebody to bend a brolly on him like that.
He'd be grounded for a week. I can see him now, looking miserable in his binny.
A look that could break your heart. You really have to laugh.
What do you want?
I'm glad I caught you in a good mood.
Good enough for present circumstances. What do you want?
Information. Who married Gladys Henshaw?
That lad of Betty Renfield's. Not Terence. The other one. Leslie. What do you want to know for?
Just testing. I tell everybody you're the local encyclopedia. Your cover's a bit worn, but you'd be very handy on anybody's shelf.
Travis out of the house. I can't keep mine in.
I don't know when he last took me out for a meal. And then it had to be a place with a big menu.
Oh, does he eat a lot?
Oh, no. He just likes the menu to be big so he can hide his face.
Is he really as shy as that?
Travis can blush at 100 yards. I've never seen him naked. Well, I say this not out of any spirit of complaint. Just to give you some idea.
You've not missed anything worth losing any sleep about.
I do miss going out for a meal.
I think the last time we went was on honeymoon. He went white when he saw the bill, which was more emotion than he'd shown all week. And I've been cooking ever since.
I wonder if we tried starving them out.
Where are we going? Tell me where we're going.
Keep going. Stop asking questions.
You're in a funny mood today.
And it gets funnier. Oh, pull over there.
Why are we stopping here?
What a man for questions you are. Where are we going? Why are we stopping?
You've got another man. You brought me way out here so nobody will see me when I break down.
Stop dramatising.
How long has it been going on?
There you go again. Questions. Don't you like a little mystery in your life?
Glenda, I work for a financial institution.
And it's beginning to show.
Picnic? I haven't got time for a picnic.
Oh, it's time you made time, Barry. Let's find a spot.
Why didn't you give me a bit of warning?
Because you would have said you were busy, Barry.
I am busy.
You see? There's a lot of world out there, Barry.
Who is he?
There is no who is he. Look at the world out there, Barry.
Done that, now what?
All that world, Barry. And look at us. 2 tiny insects. And how long are we going to be here to enjoy it? Kiss me, Barry.
What, out here?
Out here, out there, anywhere. It's time you had a little something more than finance, Barry, in your life. Happy birthday, Barry.
It's not my birthday.
That's what you think, boyo. Playtime. Remember? We used to do this. Raise up, go before you forget how.
No, I don't think it would have been a good idea to ask for a lift.
Why didn't we bring some trays?
Behave like idiots. Maybe next time.
That'd be Alvin, they say, with his racing tray.
That'll be Alvin, they'll say. Still daft as a brush.
A man sticks with what he does best.
Yeah, well, with me, that's breathing. I like to keep breathing. It's very low tech, of course, and sometimes it gets a bit boring, but no, I like to keep breathing.
When you were in your, not quite regular relationships...
You don't always realise at first that they're not quite regular.
And by the time you find out, it's too late. I know the feeling.
They say they're not married. You can hardly ask for identification.
Of course, this is just a hypothetical question, but if you were in a not quite regular relationship, would you expect him to take you out somewhere nice occasionally?
Absolutely. You must insist, otherwise you'll get your fill of Mother Nature.
You are so right. I have been nettled in places that few people have ever even seen.
What's good if you're thinking of eating out?
Money.
Where's a nice place to take a wife?
Whose wife?
My wife.
He's going to take Pearl out for a meal?
Well, what's so surprising about a man taking his wife out for a meal?
She must have caught you big time this time, Howard. What have you been up to?
Oh, don't ask him. He'll only lie.
I haven't been up to anything.
Oh, told you so.
Look, all I want to know is what you recommend.
Just keep lying, Howard. It's cheaper than eating out.
Where's a good restaurant to take your wife?
You'll be needing a dinner suit then.
Good. Just a decent place with a friendly atmosphere.
You and Pearl in a friendly atmosphere? How are you going to handle that? You've had no experience.
I want somewhere not too expensive.
Ooh, that's a terrible attitude. Makes me grow quite cold.
It's no good asking me. I've never eaten out.
You took that bird for a meal.
She left me when I went to order the meal.
Should have gone with you.
How much were you planning to spend? I dare say I could soon knock something up in the kitchen.
I want somewhere quiet and respectable.
All right, the dining room.
Pub up the valley's changed hands. They say the food's good.
How come this woman didn't wait for the meal?
I've no idea. All I know is when I got back outside, she'd gone. Leaving me holding fish and chips twice.
No mushy peas. No wonder she left you.
You know, sometimes think that lass deserves a meal.
Me too. He dragged her everywhere else. But isn't he taking Pearl out?
Sometime, but when? I think he needs nailing down to a definite time and place. Ah, what a happy coincidence.
Oh, it is for me. I haven't seen a hat raised since bonfire night. That was on fire.
We were hoping to catch you.
It's never difficult. I soon run out of steam when I'm chased.
We were asked to inquire if you'd care to go out for a meal.
Would I? There are gentlemen who never take a lady anywhere civilized. It's always outdoors. I don't know how much fresh air they think a girl needs.
Oh, things could be looking up. Tell her.
Tell her what?
I knew it. You weren't paying attention.
If a person had any respect for a person, you'd think they might take her out for a meal occasionally.
Funny you should say that. What did he say to us only this morning? You remember, I must take her for a meal, he said.
Oh, that this morning.
He said that?
I don't care what the risks are, he said.
I owe that shy young creature an evening of civilized dining, he said.
With wine and after-dinner mints.
With wine and after-dinner mints? Oh, Mother warned me about that. Did he say when?
Tonight. I'll do it tonight, he said, his eyes flashing.
Good gracious. Sounds like he means business. And I thought we were just going for a bicycle ride.
I mean business, he said. Tell her tonight.
That doesn't leave a girl much time to do things with her best features.
If you see her before me, he said, you could tell her.
The Fox and Duck, he said, 7 o'clock.
And not just a bar meal.
Good gracious. What can he mean? Not just a bar meal.
What?
How does the Fox and Duck sound?
Well, one goes quack, quack.
Us. Just me and you, the Fox and Duck, and not just a bar meal.
Well, you finally got the message.
I would probably have thought about it anyway.
Oh, of course. But listen, I don't want you throwing a wobbler when the bill comes.
As if I would.
Well, it was embarrassing enough last time. You looking all white and shaky on our honeymoon.
It was only for a couple of days.
All right. Are we going to get to the Fox and Duck? You go to spring for a taxi? Don't panic. I'll pay for the taxi. But we can take Nellie. She never gets Travis to take her anywhere.
Oh, who's paying for Nellie?
You're going white again.
They're cooking up something. When they get their heads together like that, they make you feel guilty for trying to listen.
You know what I hate most about people who lower their voices and start whispering? You can't hear a damn thing.
I think it's best to ignore them.
Oh, you don't really?
I do. Until there's a chance you can hear what they're saying.
Serves him right. He never takes Marina for a meal. He's always dragging her through the underbrush.
It must have nerves of steel.
If anybody deserves her woodcraft badge.
Oh, must spend her life being whisked about the wilderness.
She must be ready for a meal.
It's time he took her for a meal.
All right, so you've told Marina that Howard is going to take her out, but who's going to break the news to Howard?
We haven't seen him yet.
You know what it's like. There's never a Howard when you want one.
It's so unlikely that anyone's going to want one.
So I said, what about Caxton Street?
Oh, what about Caxton Street?
Well, I mean...
Did they have 2 cups of tea?
Oh, Howard, the Fox and Duck.
What you've heard?
A little bird told me. 2, actually.
Which 2?
You mustn't be jealous, but I was chatting with Truly and Alvin.
Oh, you're sure you're not upset? Because it means I have to change our plans for this evening.
Oh, Howard, it was just another old bicycle ride. Taking your lady to the Fox and Duck is a much higher priority.
I think it's very understanding of you to realise there are times when circumstances force a change of plans.
I like to think I'm ready for any circumstance.
There are times when you have to bow to pressure.
I've bowed a few times myself.
People get really serious about being taken out. What can you do?
You can only do what you've done. I think it's very gentlemanly of you.
You've no idea what a relief this is, finding you in this mood.
I have moods for every occasion, Howard. After the after-dinner mints, perhaps we can run through a few. The Fox and Duck, then. I'll be there at 7.
Tonight? I didn't get much notice either. Yes, the Fox and Duck tonight.
Well, what brought this home? Has he gone funny?
Oh, he occasionally has a good idea, especially when it's really one of mine. You're looking flustered.
I expect it's the excitement.
Going out for a meal? What's so exciting?
Which is, for me, I rarely get the chance.
Going out for a meal can be more exciting than people think.
I don't remember it being all that exciting last time we went, but at least it's a change.
Change? Oh, that's a good idea. It's all been a bit short notice. If tonight's not convenient, Nellie, we can all go some other night.
No, tonight. Tonight is fine.
And fine by me, too. We're going tonight.
Oh, goody.
Where's he going now?
I'm going to kill some... consult somebody.
We didn't know you were already going there tonight.
Life is full of these little coincidences. You'll laugh at it later.
You think so?
Well, maybe not till after the divorce.
Hey, you'll probably get custody of your bicycle.
Stop winding him up. Now, be reasonable, Howard. I mean, how often do you take Pearl out for a meal?
You knew I was taking her out.
We knew you were thinking about it, but you usually chicken out and lose your financial nerve.
I'm dead. I'm a dead man.
Oh, severely wounded, more like. Oh, calm down. We'll think of something.
Calm down. I'll be sharing a table with 3 females. Who do I introduce first? The wife or the lady friend?
Start with the one that likes surprises.
It may be a bit tricky during the starters, but by the main course you may all have found a common interest.
Yes, and it'll be me. They all want me dead.
Relax. They got you into this, but they'll get you out.
Travis, when I said you could phone me, I didn't mean as soon as I'd left the house. Of course I'll be careful. Just tell me at my age what I'm supposed to be careful of. Yes, I admit, I did put some lipstick on. Purely as self-defense. I've no plans for attack. Travis, make yourself a cocoa.
Oh, you made it then. I was hoping you didn't have a fall or twist your ankle or anything.
He's in a festive mood. What's up with him?
Financial panic. All he keeps saying is, are you sure you wouldn't rather we sent out for a pizza?
He said the Fox and Duck.
Said he heard this was better. I'm not taking her anywhere second best, he said.
She wants a treat, she gets the best.
How encouraging. Did he give any indication of how comprehensive a treat?
Make sure she gets there safely, he said.
Safety first, that's Howard. He's always better at safety than treats.
I'll be there, he said, as soon as I've finished capturing this savage dog.
He's not doing anything reckless, is he?
Well, he didn't say what his plans were for later.
What's he doing with a savage dog?
They always call him to savage dogs.
Howard?
Some people wrestle crocodiles, Howard does dogs.
He has this almost magical powers over wild things, sworn never to use it for personal advantage.
I can vouch for that.
Not wise to snarl in his ear.
Actually, I've always found him very restful, despite several opportunities.
I'll just have something light.
Since when? You'll have your usual. I'm not starting feeding you when you get home.
What's his usual?
Twice as much as everybody else.
Travis is quite a dainty eater. He can make a ginger biscuit last longer than a set of tyres.
Howard's built for speed.
How does he stay so slim?
It's worry.
Oh, what's he got to worry about?
Me.
Excuse me. I must go and wash my hands. Order for me.
He's a bundle of nerves.
You think he's bad now? Wait till he gets the bill.
Now, you tell Marina that you can't stop because you've got to go for your tetanus injection.
I hate needles.
No, you don't. You laugh at needles. And you laugh at savage dogs.
How much Howard require bandaging?
Oh, give him plenty. He's got to excite the woman's sympathy. And remember, you've got to be back here before the soup comes.
And guess what's in the soup? Me.
Nobody does it better, Howard.
I like it out here. Away from the mad rush.
That driver's looking for an accident.
Well, the guy in the back was already dressed for it.
Well, don't you think we ought to book him?
You pick on an invalid.
You're right. I'm ashamed.
Then they say we have no hearts.
Feels good, doesn't it?
What?
Being kind to the less fortunate.
That's what it's all about.
Now, let's get the story straight. You rescued this little child from the jaws of this savage dog. Then you limped away bleeding without even leaving a name and address.
As you do.
So, nobody knows who this brave guy was?
Correct. There were dozens of witnesses, but you insisted on remaining anonymous.
One of the bravest things you've never done.
Couldn't I have been recognised by maybe just one?
Forget it.
I think there should have been a bit of fuss. Nothing heavy. A few chaps shaking me by the hand. A grateful mother giving me a kiss. You know, the kind of thing. Little human details.
Stick to the script. Keep it simple. And let's have the right expression. You're bravely trying to hide the fact that you're in pain. You could do better than that.
Allow me. People from Hull know all about pain.
What's Miss Davenport doing here?
Well, we asked her here. She's going to keep Marina company while you go to have your tetanus injection.
That's good thinking.
Oh, Howard, you're in the slipstream of this well-planned operation.
Howard,
Is there anything one can do?
I wouldn't mind a shoulder to rest on.
Oh,
A little aftershock. He's just rescued a child from a savage dog.
how courageous! Any other brave person would have done the same.
Should he be here in this condition?
He didn't want to disappoint a young lady. He was hoping you would join her for a meal.
Who's paying?
How admirable. How one's heart goes out to him in the circumstances. Oh. Is he in pain?
He looks quite happy at the moment.
Oh, Howard!
It's all right. He saved the child.
He insisted on keeping this appointment.
Oh, Howard, you did that for me.
But we ought to take him now before the pain becomes unbearable. He tries to hide it, but...
I want you to stay and enjoy a meal with Miss Davenport. Or if you prefer it, perhaps just a sandwich.
Tell the dog story, quick. Let's get you back to Pearl.
Whose dog?
You only know him as Smith.
A dog called Smith?
That's the owner, you dollop. Call it anything as long as it's not Cuddles.
Oh, Howard, I hope you're not permanently savaged.
He stared it down. It's almost magical what he can do with a word of command.
Howard, you should have said.
They give us all this equipment. And do you know what this vehicle really needs? A good sandwich dispenser.
With little packets of sweet chilli and some garlic sauce.
That's the one. And what do we get? A radio and blue lights.
Did you see that?
What did it look like to you?
Some lowlife mugging a fella on crutches.
That's what it looked like to me.
What?
They go another mile and they won't be on our patch. They'll be in the next divisional area.
Should we be interfering with offences committed in a neighbouring divisional area?
Could be seen as pushy.
Let's be pushy.
You're right. They're on our patch. Nobody gets hurt with stuff like that on our patch.
Stop the truck! We've just lost Alvin!
I wouldn't say lost, he's lying there.
And go steady this time. You're driving like some muffin from Hull.
Whiplash.
No, thank you. Not just after a meal.
You spend all this time in the toilet and come out with whiplash?
How are we going to explain damage to car?
We don't know how it happened, do we? You were lowering me down some old mine shaft so I could rescue a kitten. And then when we got back to car...
Some chuff must have backed into it. I remember now. Ah!
We're not as young as we used to be.
I deny that.
Neck's better when they can swivel.
I wonder if Nora Batty's any good at massage. She's only next door. At least she's convenient.
Well, that's not my idea of convenient.
Depends on answer to question, is Nora Batty better than Stiff Neck?
Marginally, I say yes.
Don't go to sleep, Alvin. You're showing signs of concussion.
I never thought I'd hear anybody describe Nora Batty as convenient.
Why does Nora Batty think you got a woman in the house?
Because I keep acting like somebody who's trying to hide a woman in the house. She's not quite sure whether I have or not, and it's driving her wild.
That's wicked.
You can but try. See if she's in the yard.
She's not. I don't smell dangerous female, and this nose is trained for such things.
She'll come out when she hears this door close. Wave at my bedroom window as we pass. A quick little wave. Who trained your nose for dangerous women, then?
I don't like to talk about it. Someday I'll show you the scars.
That muffin in the pub last night?
Oh, well, it's probably me.
No, worse than you. Kept banging on about alien visitors, flying saucers.
Oh, that's Kevin, yes. He comes from Luton. They tend to see things like that.
I always think it's very sad.
Coming from Luton?
No, having these outer space fixations. They get so they can't talk anything else. They end up as little green men.
Ah, he's harmless. And last night he came very close to being legless.
He got me in a corner and I couldn't get away.
So, what did you learn?
That the man's an idiot.
Yeah, well, they've all got their good points, if you look.
He kept asking me, what did I know about the asteroid belt? I said I didn't know he was wearing one.
You didn't, did you?
I couldn't resist it.
He's into stealth technology. He's in search of the silent bicycle. See, it's when they're quiet, you know they're up to something. I like to be able to hear them. Well, DIY. It's what it was invented for. They're not much good at it, but at least you know where they are.
I know where Travis is. He's always under your feet. What's your plan for when he achieves the silent bicycle?
Well, he's wasting his time. I should put his squeak straight back in.
You've got to admire his initiative that someone of his age still needs a silent bicycle.
You admire his initiative? I'll just put his squeak back in.
Glenda?
What?
That was a very unfriendly what. Why are you giving me these terrible whats? What's wrong?
Nothing.
Nothing? Uh-oh. If it's that bad, don't you think we ought to talk about it? Not necessarily right at this moment, of course.
So, if they look like anybody else, I asked him, how do you spot an alien?
Well, go on. I'm sure this is something we should all know.
Lack of emotion, he says. They can't smile.
gods, there's one at the door.
Where's the harm in oiling a bicycle?
Oh, still eluding you, is it, the silent bicycle?
It's the women. They stare at you as if you've got some sneaky reason. That's it. That's the look. What does a person have to do to establish his innocence?
In your case, he'd have to lie.
And he'd better than you usually do.
It stands to reason a person is going to try to remove a persistent squeak. Nobody likes a persistent squeak.
Oh, Pearl married you, didn't she?
Look on the bright side, Howard. Be thankful for all the no good you've managed to get up to, even with the squeaky bicycle.
And this is called putting the squeak back in.
Norman Clegg's house?
Do I look like Norman Clegg's house? It's that one.
Bit sharp-tongued, aren't we? I used to have one like you.
Probably more than you deserved, then.
Do you know, I sometimes think the best defence we've got against aliens is when they find out what our women are like.
Alien visitors? Oh, you men do read some twaddle.
Twaddle? They're here already.
Oh.
Don't laugh. Are you sure the person you're living with is above suspicion?
Suspicion? Is that all it takes? Why, heck, they are here already. I sometimes think Travis wasn't meant for this planet. Looks like Norman Clegg's about to have an alien visitor. Isn't it wonderful? The way nature arranges for the crackpots to find each other.
Check if Nora's still out there.
She looks better from this angle.
Would you go as far as better?
No, maybe not.
Here, put this on.
You make a suggestion like that to a man with his own Swiss Army pocket knife?
How long have you had that?
Ever since Auntie Wainwright wanted to get rid of a Swiss Army pocket knife.
You'll be equipped for every emergency then.
I thought so, until I got into this wig thing.
Put it on and give her a glimpse of it passing the window. Got there to see your face. I don't want anybody to think I'm keeping one like you.
I've seen you with worse.
In daylight.
And in this incident, this sheriff's deputy in California was abducted and taken to another planet.
In California, they're all on another planet.
Where he was subjected to a series of humiliating examinations.
I get one from Pearl regularly.
They removed this bloke's brain.
That's the one.
When they put it back again.
You must have missed that bit, Howard.
You see what you get for sneaking away?
And when this deputy got back home, his wife spotted immediately that something was different.
Pearl does that too.
That's how you know they care.
It's like going through customs and immigration every time you get home.
Did the deputy recover? I mean, I don't want to hear any more if it ends badly.
He got back. They brought him back. But he was never the same. Wife left him.
What happened?
Something characteristically human had gone. Vanished.
They took his credit cards.
They took his personality. He came back like a zombie. No expression. No emotion.
I think I've seen him. Behind the counter in the charity shop.
Oh, you are speaking to me then.
I've never not been speaking to you.
You weren't speaking to me last night.
When?
When you were out stargazing. When I was lying in a lonely bed with only the sports section of the newspaper for company.
You never read the sports section.
And I wouldn't have been reading it last night, but I'd used the other pages for wrapping some celery in.
When did we have celery?
We didn't. We haven't had it yet. Mr. Crabtree kindly brought me some from his garden.
How long has this been going on?
What?
Strangers bringing you celery?
He's not a stranger.
He is to me.
You met him at Shirley's wedding.
I don't remember.
No, you won't remember. You'll be too busy gawping at the stars or something.
Oh, it's fascinating, Glenda. When you realise how big the universe is.
I realise how big our bed is when you've been abandoned by your husband.
She always had lovely handbags. She had a thing about handbags.
She had a thing about more than that.
Oh, you can't blame her for falling for him. I could have fallen for him.
I thought you did.
I knew it. You put a bit of makeup on and a lifetime of unblemished behaviour goes down the toilet.
Every time he passed the cafe, he used to go to jelly.
Rubbish.
You weren't safe with a full cup of tea?
I might have found him attractive, but it didn't go anywhere near to jelly.
You used to blush.
Have you finished? And what about you? Are you telling me that you've never been to jelly?
If I had, I'd have kept it hidden.
Well, I'll concede that much. There's nobody hides going to jelly better than you.
And look what happened to her. I wonder how many fancy handbags she's got now.
Maybe twice as many. Jelly and handbags. Oh, lucky devil. Oh, life can be so unfair.
You're better with both feet firmly on the floor.
Like you were when you had that crush on Des Ellis.
It's a lie. I deny it. Anyway, you're allowed to be stupid at 17.
You were never 17. You were 40 when you were born.
Going on 50.
So why did your wife leave you?
She never said.
Didn't you ask her?
She was busy.
Back in a suitcase.
Yeah, mine.
She threw you out.
She gave me the bus fare.
Well, where did you go?
Back to Mother.
There you go, you see. Somebody loved you.
She threw me out as well.
It's Overnight Express.
And what little goodies are they carrying today?
Hey, typist chairs.
Your missus makes a good sandwich.
I'll tell her you said.
The snag in life is, how do you know these things before you get married?
You take the risk.
That's it. You dive in completely blind. You stand in church, you say I do, without the faintest idea of what she's going to do to a sandwich.
Not these days. They live together before they get married.
Why didn't I think of that?
I did think of that. It's just the wife didn't think of that, and neither did her mother.
You think that's why young couples live together? So they can experiment to find the perfect sandwich?
Makes sense to me. Anyway, I don't believe your wife are all that bad with packed lunches.
Not now. But for the first 2 years, I used to live off things I could scrounge from my colleague.
Not changed a lot, have you?
Don't be bitter. You've opened my eyes to a whole new range of cuisine.
Opened your mouth a few times too.
I let you share my lip salve when it's windy on the moors.
Can't understand it. I oiled it this morning.
You pay more attention to that than you do to me. I'm playing second fiddle to a squeak.
I think we ought to find somewhere less public, and I'll get to the bottom of it.
Less public?
We're on a public road.
It's not the M1, Howard.
But there are people who, if they saw us, wouldn't believe we came out here just for the view.
That's me for a start.
I suppose you're right. Nobody's likely to see us out here. And we'd hear if any vehicle was coming.
How ingenious! All that in that little space.
Also plays music. Not for me. I don't like music.
Oh, I love the romantic composers. I get quite carried away.
I don't go like that. He used to get carried away.
Tchaikovsky.
Whiskey.
Can we help?
What have you got on aliens?
Illegal?
Outer space? Extraterrestrial? Are we alone in the universe? That kind of thing.
I sometimes feel that I'm alone in the universe. It's a mistake for a woman to be academically bright. It makes men uneasy. They prefer bimbos. I can't do bimbo. I've tried. I wore a low-cut blouse. He took me out for a meal, and I dropped a fork down it. Have you ever tried surreptitiously removing a fork from your cleavage?
I'm sure I would have remembered.
It went straight down and onto the floor. I was wearing a skirt that wasn't big enough to catch it. A miniskirt is no defence against a determined fork. No, I can't do bimbo. Science fiction is over there.
They're not fiction, lass. They're flesh and blood. It might be green, but it's still blood.
I don't think we have anything on green blood.
People don't realise, but they're here already. They might have been in this library.
Keen readers, are they? Intelligent life somewhere in the universe would be nice.
You do well to keep an eye out for people who show no emotion.
I've had several encounters with men like that.
That's how you can spot them. No emotion, blank faces, no expression. Completely nothing there. Just totally dead. Almost like... What was that?
Typist chairs. Where are the typist chairs?
They're coming.
What do you mean they're coming?
Two typist chairs, hand-delivered.
What about the wear and tear?
We're all right. We feel fine, don't we?
Since he's taken up stargazing, he won't come to bed.
I come to bed on cloudy nights.
That's nice, isn't it? I'm only available when wet.
What's he doing stargazing when he works for a building society?
I thought it was all done with computers.
It's ever since he got the book from the library.
Do none of you ever wonder about man's place in the universe?
I often wonder what place my man's in.
I wish I could get Travis interested in something other than housework.
Do you realise how much universe there is up there?
Well, I only hope you're well wrapped up. It's no universe for playing fast and loose with your vest.
Is he stargazing all night? Oh, I wouldn't have that.
I'm in bed by midnight.
It's like a block of ice.
I know what you mean. They should be kept at room temperature.
Has he bought a telescope? They usually start by buying all the equipment.
They have to buy it quick before they lose interest.
I'll say this much for mine. He's got an interest that doesn't require much more than a bicycle.
I don't think he loves me like he used to.
Glenda, do we have to go in public?
Are you feeling this girl?
Ask her about the celery. She has men bringing her celery.
That's what we've always wanted.
Now, let us be fair. She gave us a good price.
Oh, yeah. They were a snip. We'd have been daft not to buy one.
Funny how things keep coming into your head like, does anybody actually type?
If there's going to be an alien invasion, it looks like Kevin's ready.
We know what Kevin's ready for.
Don't be rotten. The man wants an alien. We ought to provide one.
Why are you looking at me?
Because we always think of you, Alvin, as already being some distance into outer space.
It's just a first impression.
Alvin does good impressions.
Yeah, you can be an alien, Alvin. You're the very model of an alien, if ever I saw one.
Have you ever seen one?
Seen one or married one? Come on, now, it has to be you. Kevin hasn't seen you. Anybody home?
Yeah! Well, he's come down to earth now.
I thought I'd been grabbed. I thought, this is it. They're here. Next stop, the mothership.
Welcome aboard Mothership Entwistle.
Can you vouch for him? Does he bleed green?
You don't like to ask.
Did you know he makes funny bleeping noises?
I think it's something he ate.
Help you get to know me better. I could sell you reconditioned television.
That's it then. He does come from round here.
Let's get you in the cab, Kevin. Come on.
My legs are like jelly.
What flavour?
This morning there was something different about today.
And you were right. Today's the day I bought a typist's chair. I thought his legs were jelly.
I'm thinking custard for brains.
I bring you greetings from Mother Earth. And from me and a bloke called Farnsworth, who would have been here except he's on holiday. Blackpool. Which isn't outer space, but it's doing its best. Have you come far?
Turn left at Attercliffe.
You'd have been better on the ring road.
Old navigator, take Ring Road.
Didn't fool me for a minute. I knew he was faking it. I was just about to expose him. No chance. I can tell the real thing every time if I do the experiment.
Experiment? You're not cutting me open to see if I bleed green.
Not necessary. It's my own discovery, but anyone can do it. The alien detector. Make an X.
Make a what?
A figure X. Go on, do it. Side by side with your feet and fingertips touching mine. 2 connected X's. Now you've got it.
Very interesting, Kevin. But what would a person do with it once he got it?
Do with it? He'd listen, wouldn't he? What we've got here, as long as we keep firmly connected at feet and fingertips, is a very powerful psychic receiver.
Not to mention arm ache.
You'll see. We'll start picking things up.
Like funny reputation.
Me and Farnsworth do it all the time. I bet he's found somebody at Blackpool to do it with.
Which I'm sure is not beyond the bounds of possibility.
And what have you received apart from funny looks?
You can laugh, but it works. We've done it. Me and Farnsworth. The scientists are listening for aliens with all this machinery. No chance. They're not going to communicate like that. We've got to start listening with the intelligence and the minds we've been given.
That's all very well for us, but what's Alvin going to do?
I'll catch up. Don't wait for me.
You think it's a good idea speaking to green people?
We don't know the green. Maybe it's just their blood that's green.
Tell them there's a welcome waiting. If they really are green, vegetarians should be able to eat them.
If you do get through, see if anybody wants the typist chair. Right, I believe I'm ready. Let's do it.
You're ready for more?
You're looking at Big X. Come on, let's do it.
Feet and fingers touching. You've got to concentrate. You've got to become a cosmic receiver.
But all we get is a commercial.
Come on, you do it. The more X's we've got, the better the receiver.
What do you think it is?
I think it's weird.
I can see it's weird. But what kind of weird?
Some kind of ceremony. Probably some ancient ritual.
How long do they keep this up?
Until whatever it is they're trying to summon appears.
Do you think they can?
No, it's all rubbish.
So why can I hear something coming?
Can you hear that?
You don't think they've been asked to keep an eye on us?
Just two people cycling? Why should anybody want to keep an eye on us?
I bet they think we're up to something.
The thought does cross your mind.
I want you to know, I'd never do anything to compromise your reputation.
Not on a bicycle. I can see that.
I'd love us to stop and just explore more. But people get funny ideas if they see you wheeling your machines into the woods.
I know just how they feel.
People think it's suspicious if you're only picking bluebells.
I know it gets a laugh at work, even if you just stand there waving your bluebells.
You want celery? I'll get you celery.
Larry, he gives celery to other ladies. He always takes some for Mrs. Batty.
You see? A womanizer.
Listen to outer space. Never heard such rubbish.
Some people will fall for anything.
We'll have to do that again. I could feel something was coming.
Don't call us, Kevin. We'll call you.
You can tell me it's none of my business, but I've got to ask. I've lived here all these years without any scandal. Have you got a woman?
Nora Batty. Thank you for the offer, but I've no vacancies at the moment.